Hey everybody, Jim here, and tonight I am in Akihabara, and I'm here at Super Potato, which is sort of like the most well-known retro game shop in town, and I'm here because tonight I want to show you that you can start a Super Famicom collection for less than $50. This is a shop that's known for being, some people have used the term tourist trap. It's very expensive, and the truth is, if you're looking for like collector's items, things like that, yeah, it can be very expensive, but actually if you're searching for things that are not so uncommon, it's actually a fairly affordable shop. So for less than 5,000 yen, less than 50 bucks, we're gonna start a nice little Super Famicom collection. And we are only gonna pick up loose carts because box games are obviously gonna be more expensive, and we're gonna try to get at least one first-party Nintendo game, one platformer that is not a first-party Nintendo game, one fighting game, one shoot 'em up, and one puzzle game. And then whatever we get in addition to that is just icing on the cake. So let's get inside and start our nice little collection, again, for under 50 bucks. So we get started with the first party games, and I considered a few classics like Super Donkey Kong for 528 yen, a decent price. The old standby Super Mario World, which costs a little more actually at 638, or possibly an old favorite in Super Mario Kart at 858. But I decided to go with the cheapest option, which was Yoshi's Island, which many would say is the best of the bunch. If you've somehow still never played it, it's definitely one of the best 16-bit platformers ever made, in my personal opinion, even if the crying baby Mario can get a little annoying after a while. It features some very impressive and creative visuals for a game of its time, an enjoyable soundtrack that features a wide range of great and memorable tracks, and of course some very fun gameplay. And at only 418 yen, it's a perfect game to kick off your new Super Famicom collection. Next up, we're looking for another good platformer, and at first I considered Super Ginjin, aka Super Bonk, which is a good deal at 858 yen, or possibly Super Ginjin 2, which is pricier at 1408, but still not too bad. But instead, I decided to go with the second game in the Japan exclusive Go-Go Akman series. If you've never heard of it, it's a trilogy of games based on a series of manga and anime created by Akira Toriyama, hence his very recognizable art style. There's some very well-made and fun platformers that give you a whole bunch of weapons to play around with and lots of boss battles to take on. Plus, they all feature some very nice graphics and sound, and with this being the most affordable of the bunch at 858 yen, it makes a great addition to our new Super Famicom collection. Okay, now we want a shooter, which was the toughest to find, as games like Sonic Wings, R-Type 3, and Parodius are all fairly expensive. Area 88, aka UN Squadron, at 1848 was considered not a bad price, but I found a better deal on a copy of Poppin Twinby. This shoot-'em-up from Konami is very well made, as you might expect. It's a top-down shooter where you shoot down enemies both in front of and below you, kind of like an old game of Xevious, all the while picking up a wide variety of multicolored bells that grant you an assortment of power-ups. The gameplay is super smooth, challenging, and extremely fun. The visuals are very colorful, and the soundtrack is excellent, and this is probably one of the better shooters available on the console, and at only 1,258 yen, it is indeed a great value. Next up, I was looking for a good beat-em-up, and my first thought was the Kunio-kun games. The sequel to River City Ransom, Shodai Neketsu Koha Kunio-kun, wasn't exactly cheap at 2508, and the prequel Shin Neketsu Koha Kunio-kun is a little more at 3058. I also considered another Technos Japan game, the Comba Tribes, at $11.88, which is a decent price, or Rushing Beat, aka Rival Turf, for $10.78. But then I set my sights on the Final Fight games, and while the first game is a classic, I opted to go for Final Fight 2. It's definitely a worthy follow-up to the original game with great graphics and sound, classic beat-em-up gameplay, and unlike the first entry, it does feature two-player co-op. I'd say the characters, settings, and soundtrack aren't quite as iconic as the original, but this is still a great beat-em-up, and at only 968 yen, you really can't go wrong with this one. Now we're looking for a good puzzle game, and while there are plenty available for the Super Famicom, I immediately went with my first choice, which was Puyo Poyo 2. If you've never played a Puyo Poyo game, you've really been missing out on some serious fun. It's a classic color matching style puzzle game that encourages you to rack up the biggest combos possible in order to create a lot of chaos for your opponent who's also trying to do the same to you. This game only gets better if you've got someone to play against, and you might know it better as Kirby's Avalanche or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine if you've ever played either one of those. And at a mere 550 yen, this game is a no-brainer. Finally, to wrap things up, I wanted to pick up a good fighting game and first consider the obvious choice of Street Fighter II, which is very common and affordable, whether it's original, turbo, or super, but then I thought, why not an anime licensed fighter to keep things interesting? I considered first the prettiest of fighters, Sailor Moon S, or Dragon Ball Z games like Super Butoden 2, which is fun, or Hyperdimension, which is also very fun, but a bit pricier. Finally, I settled on the Namco-developed Yuuyu Hakusho 2. This is a game, basically, if you like Street Fighter 2, you'll probably like this one because it plays more or less the same with the same basic control scheme, special moves, and super attacks. You get a variety of characters to choose between, taken from the first half of the Yu Yu Hakusho anime series. The controls are fairly smooth, the gameplay is fun, and the graphics and sound are both pretty good. And if you're a fan of the anime, you'll enjoy this game just that much more, and at only 308 yen, it's the most affordable game we're picking up today, and definitely worth every yen.
Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Alright, so now we're safely, comfortably inside of Tokyo Video Gamers, enjoying some beer, my favorite time of day, and we've got the beginnings of our nice little Super Famicom collection here, and it didn't really cost us all that much. So to recap, our first party Nintendo game, we got Yoshi's Island, amazing, one of the best games on the console really, 418 yen, that's dirt cheap. Our non-first party platformer, we got Go-Go Akman 2, fantastic game, very fun, 858 yen, not too shabby. For our fighting game, we got a copy of Yu Yu Hakusho 2, great game, one of my favorite anime of all time, and it's 308 yen, dirt cheap. For our beat 'em up, ended up going with Final Fight 2, again another amazing Capcom beat 'em up, two-player action, 968 yen, not too shabby. For our puzzle game, we ended up going with Super Puyo Poyo 2 for 550 yen. This game is incredibly fun. If I'm not mistaken, this was adapted into Kirby's Avalanche. It was either this or the first one, but if you like Kirby's Avalanche, you're gonna love this game. Good, affordable stuff. The most expensive game we picked up today, and it wasn't even really very expensive, a copy of Poppin Twinby, fantastic shooter by Konami. That only cost $12.98, so not bad there. And we even had some money left over for a bonus game, so I went ahead and picked up Super Bomberman 2. If you've ever played Bomberman, you know these games are awesome. This one's no exception. Really great single player mode where you blow up all kinds of little monsters and then you blow up bosses and everything else. And then, of course, it's a Bomberman game, so insanely fun and addictive multiplayer. So, and that was only 418 yen, so we didn't break the bank on that one either. So we got all those games for a grand total of 4,820 yen, which when you carry it over into dollars costs whatever I'm going to put up on the screen here because I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm thinking it's somewhere in the range of like $45, $44 for 7 really great games that we're going to go home and we're going to play, we're going to have a lot of fun with. So there you go. If you've got a 5,000 yen note in your pocket, you can go into Super Potato and you can get yourself a nice little Super Famicom collection started and go home and start having fun immediately. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you learned something today. And next time you are in Tokyo or in Akihabara, definitely don't be afraid to stop by Super Potato. Yeah, like I said, some of the collector's items in there are going to cost you a few bucks, but if you just want to find some inexpensive, fun games to play, they definitely got them. Again, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.